I think for me, my eye-opening experience was when I volunteered at the design conference. It's my freshman year. And my mom had been doing it, so I got involved.
Right.
And I sat at the music tent, I listened, and there up on stage was Betty Friedan and Dick Cavett talking about stuff. And I was like, how could you have such two different polar views sitting there talking about things? And I thought, wow, okay, this is pretty cool, And I felt like that's kind of what Aspen and I remember was about all these different views and all these
ideas.
Oh yeah, the idea exchange. That's next week, isn't it?
Well, the Ideas Festival is in late June, and it's the design conference is no more. That stopped about 20 years ago or so, unfortunately. But the Ideas Festival is what kind of replaced it 10 years ago or more. Right. And it's trying to do it, but it's turned into this super expensive subscription thing. And I look at you can go online and look at the Aspen Ideas Festival. And for me, it just looks like titillation for dilettantes. It's like you don't see the great thinkers coming to have those conversations. You have famous people coming to give a speech or some billionaire coming to talk about how they got rich. And, it just, I don't know why I'm so down on it. Usually I do go and appreciate what I see, but for some reason, the way they present it and market it and the cost of it, it's like $10,000 to go for a week.
Wow.
And so it's
for
like,
one
okay,
person?
who's going to be nuts. There? Yeah. So who's going to show? Nobody, nobody who's a thinker or an artist is going to be there. Yeah. It's going to be people who have $10,000, so.
No, I doubt it's still the same, but we used to do that. My mom used to, she and Nancy O'Dane would do the lemonade stand out.
Right. Yeah.
So that got us access. So we would go and volunteer some time in there, and then we'd be able to go choose whichever ones we'd want to go see. But I mean, is that even a thing anymore? I don't know. For $10,000 a ticket, I don't imagine.
You could probably volunteer. You could probably volunteer again to help out one way or another. They have people doing that. I just remember, seeing Paul McCready, who's the guy he was an MIT professor engineer who designed the Gossamer Albatross and the Gossamer Condor, the human-powered aircraft. Mm-hmm. And Steve Jobs was there, and Buckminster Fuller was there so often. I heard him so many times. It's like I could never get through one of his speeches because they were just so, verbose and big words, and he talked for 4 hours without stopping. Wow. It was a marathon, but those are the formative things. I think those are the things that made me who I am. That's why I did with my career, and why I'm doing what I'm doing now is that I saw the potential, and you guys have grown up with that too. It's like you see the potential there, and you realize, hey, we can make the world a better place, or at least we can make our own part of the world a better place. Yeah. And that's kind of, I just realized how important that was to me.
It's what's interesting is I got the experience of all those events and all that stuff in Aspen, and then when I came to Portland, White and Kennedy started to do this thing where they called it the Creative Conference, and I got in. That was another one, and it was kind of spendy and all that stuff. But I got in because I was working at the film lab. And so I was part of the whole underbelly of folks, so I could get in through their little pass and thing. And it was interesting because the event that they had a lot of famous people and all that kind of stuff, but they had Martin Sheen show up. And he brought with him this was like the pre-screening of Heart of Darkness. So he ended up talking about his whole experience with the, Apocalypse Now.
Apocalypse Now, right?
Yeah,
I think Heart of Darkness.
About it. He talked about it, and then he said, went in and did his whole detail and his family and what happened and all that stuff. And then he was like, let me show you. And he showed Francis Ford Coppola's wife's documentary, and it was amazing to kind of get that experience with him,
Right. Yeah. Very valuable. So was the documentary called Hearts of Darkness?
Yeah.
Because it's after Joseph Conrad, Heart of Darkness, and then Apocalypse Now came from that, and then she made the film, right? And I can't recall if I ever saw that doc. I need to start watching documentaries again, but I can't get anybody in the family to watch them with me.
It's really cool because it's one of those things that's shot on 16 and transferred, so it has that kind of little indie flavor feel to it, which is really cool because it is an inside shot. I mean, she's just shooting around behind the scenes and all that stuff, So it adds to that flavor when you watch it a little bit, you know. But that's the kind of things that these events, I feel like, were so special. And it's like, those are the things that, like you say, shape who you are because of those kind of experiences.